All right, I'm Tate Griffin, and welcome to the Bare Bones Podcast with Tate Griffin. That means there's no frills, mostly because I don't want to spend any money. Secondly, because usually what we have to say is good enough. You don't need little songs or sponsors or listeners or anything else. I'm joined today by Mr. Z himself.
That's right, the big brazen one is here.
We're going to be talking a little bit about fast food today.
Particularly the death dogs that I just ate.
Where'd you get them from?
From the sheets, a.k.a. the shits.
The sheets. Coincidentally, there we go. I don't know, man. We were talking a little bit earlier about having the give a shit tax,
right?
Where you basically spend an extra 10% for them to give a shit. Like, for an example, if I go to McDonald's and a McDouble's $1, I'll pay $1.10, and you have to make sure there's no onions on the bun.
It's basically like we give a F about the human race. We want them to keep their jobs at the Burger Pot place.
Hey, man, how can you give these people a $15 an hour minimum wage if they can't even keep the damn onions under the bun?
That's right. That's right. They can't wear that robo suit. They can carry, 50 billion served all at once.
What I think would be great is if you had to wear a suit and then they just sandblasted those onions. Because I think you could literally carve tombstones with them.
Oh.
They're dehydrated if you just don't have water.
I thought I knew what they were lining those trucks with.
The thing is if you shot somebody with a dehydrated onion that's not dehydrated yet, then when it hits them, it's like a spray of aluminum pellets. Then they smell like onions. So you just follow them around. You can track them down.
Yeah, it's doubly gross.
I was watching on YouTube the Jason Patrick commercial, the McDLT, the hot stays hot and the cool stays fresh.
Yeah, his hair looked a lot fresher though, didn't it? Was he using a McDLT container on that? I keep the Merkin side Merkin.
The Merkin side Merkin.
For those who don't know what a Merkin is a pubic toupee.
Jesus.
What kind of condition do you have to have? Because most people try to avoid that anyway, right? Like, look at most of the porn, right? Shave. It's very rare that you ever see a Vintabush anymore, right? It's like a unicorn poon. Like, oh, look, there's a trail. I'm killing G softly right now. It's all good.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's like time travel, just like they did in Step Brothers.
So, here's a question for you. You've been doing a few open mics in preparation for the big show coming up on the 27th of July. We'll be at the Indian Main Art House in Kaiser. How have your recent open mics gone?
Some a little better than others. Just like a middle of the road sitcom series. Sometimes it doesn't spin off the right way, but then you try to go back to the old drawing board and try to rewrite it up.
Hey, dude, for every Jeffersons, you're gonna end up with the Ropers.
Wow. Whoa. You might want to write that down, Mr. G.
Remember the Ropers? It lasted for 2 episodes.
Yeah. Wow.
I remember being super mad though whenever it came around in syndication that it was the 2-part episode of Three's Company that completely focused on the Ropers to kind of set that up. Not unlike Dukes of Hazzard, when those episodes with Coy and Vance, they're like other wiener cousins that you never heard about before or since, but since there was some...
He's always ready for that position. For those of you who can't see, we got this little looks like one of the gayest toys ever made. It looks like one of Harry Potter's bitches, who is constantly ready to be subservient.
Oh my god! But yeah. So can we talk?
How do you segue from that?
I'm working on it.
I've
been flexing my Segway muscles.
And they don't rhyme with sphincter.
I was telling Zach here just before we went on the air. say we just got back from Manhattan, and I left with this feeling of being both fat and old. I was either looking for a cab, sweating, or even trying to steal a rascal. But you know what's crazy is there was nobody up there with rascals. I saw one. I mean, here it's like a fleet of interstate buses.
Wow. Yeah.
But there was like one person, and it was just like a really old lady. I'm not saying that everybody that uses it doesn't need it. I'm sure there's plenty of people that do, but there's also plenty of people that don't.
Right.
I know, because I am a class act, and I was looking for one. I don't need one, but I'd like to have it. But what are you gonna do?
Walk.
That's what I did. It's like Gavigan said about Disney World. Manhattan's the only place where you can sweat your ass off for 12 hours and still gain weight.
It's true.
I bought food on every corner.
It's true. The Middle Eastern halal food is delicious.
I got a hot dog, and the guy was like, "You want hot sauce? Hot sauce?" I went, "No hot sauce, no."
Mild
right?
is no mild sauce.
No hot sauce.
Because your mild sauce is hot sauce.
So he handed it to me, and I'm looking down, I'm like, there's fucking hot sauce on this. Like, are you kidding me?
I put mild sauce.
And I'm like looking at it.
I put mild sauce.
And I just kind of like...
Mr. G, I put mild sauce.
Well, I look over at him, like, and he went, "Just try it." I took a bite. I was like, "Oh." He goes, "It's mild." Like, it's mild. Get the fuck out of here.
I told him to have a smile. Shut the fuck up.
Just try it. You big wuss. Don't worry, I didn't give you any of your precious taste buds.
You big snow cracker, you. Snow cracker.
I don't know. I'm like, I feel like I should be offended, but I also feel like it describes me to a T.
Not only do we self-deprecate ourselves, we self-deprecate our own race.
Jesus.
You big snowflake.
So not to you know how it is. I gotta make a note here. Can you guys hear me scratching down this?
McRib, conversation okay is what she's trying to pass me to. Like we're in the 8th grade.
I gotta just check yes or no.
What a no.
Purple monkey dishwasher. Yeah, I guess from now on, I won't try to pass you a message, see if it's okay. I'll just assume all topics are okay. Because I'll be honest with you, dude, I've been texting for so long. I got a serious writer's cramp from putting that down in a marker. So, all right. So
don't pass that other note.
So we'll go from there. Mr. Z, maybe you have some stories you might want to share. I know that you are the current.
Yeah, I deal in public relations. And
That's not like the introduction if you're a contestant on Wheel of Fortune. Hi, I deal in public relations and I enjoy backgammon. Please say hello to Long Wang.
Wow, or the Biggest Loser dating edition.
Hey, singles brought together through their mutual failure of the Biggest Loser home program.
Holy shit. Yeah, I ate it all back. And then some.
Yeah.
If my body weight was Three's Company, I knocked on all 3 doors.
Wow! I decided to hang myself with a roper. I don't even know what the furly's going on anymore.
Dude. This is like watching one of those action movies where there's too much shit going on the screen. You know? There's too many laughs in the ethos.
And you're like, why are we in the second row? I'm tired of turning my head back and forth.
My eyes can't decipher. My funny bone can't digest as much funny gut. Oh my goodness. Yikes.
But, yeah, I'd like to say let's get back on track, but I don't know that we ever found the road.
I don't know, man. As greasy as can be. Talking about fast food security, let me tell you.
But, yes, Mr. Z has a shoot job in which he serves as the Mick security detail of a particular... I don't want to say anything negative about the workplace.
Please, go ahead.
I don't know. Are they going to come back and say, excuse me, Mr. Z, we heard you discussing in an unfavorable way the place that you work? It's like, well, guess what?
No.
You wouldn't have a job there if it was favorable.
It's just, I honestly, I feel like I work more in public relations and like actually just like adult daycare more than I do security most of the time.
That makes sense.
You know,
I only get a little glimpse of it,
and I'm all about treating people with respect and a look in the eye and a nice firm handshake. And most people ain't used to that, Mr. G. They don't know how to handle it. They think I'm undercover 5-0.
You got hey, most people ain't used to that, Mr. G. You got this like hint of judgment in your voice, like I'm somebody that never does it. Most people ain't used to that, Mr. G, especially when they deal with you. You don't look people in the eyes. You don't shake their hands.
You're a goddamn gypsy.
You just walk in and say, where's my burger? Make it. Don't make eye contact.
That's right. You better ladle some baked beans on that. Yuck.
I go the Adam West approach. Don't make direct eye contact. Don't speak to me. Just pay the woman and move along.
Wow. Oldest profession in the book. That's prostitution for your lamos.
For lamos. If you don't know what prostitution is, you're a lamo.
And let me tell you, there's a bunch of that going on downtown too. And you don't have to be Inspector Clouseau to nose that out. Okay?
Wow. Yeah.
You really don't.
I wonder what
You really don't.
Yeah, I wonder. I wouldn't mind just out of morbid curiosity. I'd like to see what the price list looks like in a McRib marketplace.
Yeah, and if it can be judged on smell-o-vision.
So you've cleaned up the streets of McDonald's.
I wouldn't say that, dude.
You know who would say that? My mom. Mr. Z came by the house. My mom was there, and she looked out. She went, "Who is that?" I went, "Oh, it's Mr. Z." She went, "He sure has cleaned up that McDonald's. It's a safe place for 60-year-old women to now travel."
Who is that lone condiment gunman? Condiment gunman.
Lone condiment gunman. That sounds like my Twitter handle when I found out that Bantha 1 got taken.
Whoa.
My dear heavens. So,
my goodness.
Have you had any run-ins down there at the Mc?
A little bit. Like I've had a couple people that are a couple fries short of a Happy Meal, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
And they forgot the toy.
I think that's a little too close to home. Hey, speaking of toys, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, but you remember whenever they had the 101 Dalmatians back when the Happy Meal gave a shit? Like they didn't care about your.
They had 101.
Yeah, they only cared about the toys. They didn't care about your health. I want to clarify that they gave a damn about the toy. So you go there. I remember going there. And it's like, can you just buy the toy? They're like, yeah, get a Happy Meal. You can buy them for $1. We buying a whole bunch of them and trying to collect them. I remember the one time I went, and they're like, sorry, we're out of Happy Meal toys. I'm like, there's 101 of them. You don't have any. Like, no, but we have the substitute. I opened it. It was a plastic McNugget with a face on it. That's what it was.
From like the 80s campaign, whenever they had them singing and shit.
I guess, but it there was literally 0 points of articulation. Okay? Like, I wasn't expecting...
I'm pretty sure a real nugget has 0 points of articulation.
I wasn't expecting...
Especially if it's going through your digestive tract.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, literally. If anything... I wasn't expecting a McFarlane toy, but...
It had Mick in it, damn it.
I was just like... Oh. Like, even with the face on it, it just seemed like it belonged in a toilet. But, yeah... Yeah,
I had to tell this vagrant who was loitering the other day. I'm trying to be a whole lot cooler and slow my roll, as they say. And,
yeah.
He was hanging out a little bit too long without purchasing. They haven't interrupted us.
No, we're good.
No, we're good. Okay, well, he was sitting around for a little bit, and I'll take it down. I'll take it out of the redneck Southern voice for a second, and I'm going back into it. What the hell am I doing?
I know that's hard for you. It's brave of you to try.
This guy was just sitting there, and I was like, "I'm sorry, sir. There's no loitering allowed on the property here. Would you, if you have any money, would you like to come in, maybe get something to eat or drink?" No, I ain't got no money. I'm like, oh, well, I'm sorry, sir. You can't sit here. Management has told me that anyone sitting here, they have to please kindly move along and egress. And the dude just comes out and there and goes, what am I supposed to do about goddamn money? And in my head, I'm like, get a goddamn job.
You're like, well,
right? But outwardly, my my adult voice says, well, maybe you may want to look elsewhere, and I don't know, maybe broaden your horizons as to how to acquire money. Okay, well, maybe I will move it along. Just little incidents like that.
Yeah. Well, sometimes a kind word, a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah.
Go a long way.
I'm trying to find the rainbow here at the end of the garbage pail.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no.
Now Mr. G's playing with the action.
Well, and I guess conversely, at the opposite end of that, could you tell us what you found written in the bathroom?
Oh! Had a nice little message. It was on the toilet paper dispenser on the outside cover. And it said, prolifically, in capital letters, it said, the Paul Blart that works here is a bitch. And I thought to myself, I must be doing my job.
She's doing his job.
I'm keeping the napkin dispenser real clean for everybody, okay? Don't take too many at a time.
It's a ghetto town.
Don't abuse your napkin privilege.
It's a ghetto town McDonald's because the TV says no signal. There's nowhere you can plug your phone in, and they've had to pull the Splenda packets from. You can't just freely grab what you need.
Plus, there's no electromagnetic waves coming from anyone's brain. Okay?
And they're literally like the soup Nazi when it comes to their sauce policy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I've had to adhere to that policy and enforce that policy.
Adhere and enforce.
That's right. Because believe it or not, those packets cost 25 cents a piece there, Mr. G.
Are you kidding me?
And they add up.
Retail? Or, that's what it costs them?
That's what they retail it for.
Oh.
It's probably 0 cents for them. But,
I'm guessing,
It's a big hustle.
Yeah. How much do they pay Indonesian children that are chained to a wall? Nothing. So,
We love our Soylent Green.
Our Soylent Green.
I love that movie.
My dear heaven.
Man, my laugh meter is starting to get low. I think I need to get like an energy drink from next door or something, man.
Sounds like a good idea.
And I don't want to waste all your precious podcast time. I know it's gold.
It's gold.
Even with my hidden vagina here on the cover of my sketchbook.
Wow, what a great way to go out. I literally...
Look,
yeah,
it's hidden.
I literally can't segue from there. You won.
He's like, I have all this art around this, alluding to it, and then Zach just comes out and says, hey, I got a vagina on my sketchbook.
I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll move into the Golden Corral territory. It's like, yeah.
Gotta save something for later, Mr. G. You gotta keep wanting more, right? You don't give them every inch, right?
I think I'm just hoping anybody wanted to hear the beginning.
Anybody wants to take the tip?
Anyone listening now was conned into it in some way. Maybe some misplaced allegiance to me in some way, or
I would just like to think that since you turned that phone on to record this, that the gross national debt has gone down significantly due to our laugh-a-thon.
The only word in anything you just said that is in any way relevant to us is gross.
Mr. G.
Yeah, we're well,
dude, you and I are like a bad Kazam movie. Like, we're always spontaneous. You can't contain this.
I was thinking more like Eugene Levy and John Candy and Armed and Dangerous.
Whoa, I'll be the candy.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, it's been about 19 minutes. I know if you're listening, it's felt like hours. Time comes to a grinding halt when you're listening to us sit around and riff
over and over again, more than Bill Murray and Groundhog Day.
If you're still with us, stick it out. It's worth getting through. Not the podcast, just life. And we'll catch you around next time. I usually max out at about 20 minutes.
Really? Wow.
With the Bare Bones podcast. I'm Tate Griffin. I was joined today by Mr. Z.
That's right.
I don't know how to end that because usually if it wasn't a Bare Bones podcast, we'd have music. But it all was like, all right, well.